Hello, everyone, and welcome to In the Know 360, show hosted by me, Annette, the warm-hearted warrior diva. This show gives you insights on the journeys of high-achieving business owners and music artists who share with the audience the importance of building a strong community of like-minded individuals on the road to greater success. And tonight, I am blessed, not with just one, two, but three guests, and they are called the GI Wonder. Yay! welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Again, I when I saw you on Instagram, I was like, "Oh, I have to have them on the show." So I've been waiting for this moment, right? The adrenaline rushing, and just I'm just so excited to have you. So welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having us.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you having us and reaching out. We love, anytime we get to join, new shows that reach out to us and things like that. We absolutely love it. So thank you.
Most definitely.
Thank you. Well, with that being said, I'll pass the mic to anyone of you that would like to introduce the GI Wonder, and then we can go on a round table and introduce each other separately.
Absolutely. You want to start it off, bro?
Yeah. So I guess us as a group, we go by GI Wonder. We're a 3-man hip hop trio that believe in God, faith, Jesus Christ, and we like to make creative, dope songs, music.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's start with Mr. Chris Cross.
All right. Yeah, so that's my government name, Christopher, but that is my real name. Originally from New Jersey, moved down to Virginia to Gretna, which you see in Virginia Part 5. I know we'll get to. But small town, moved here in 7th grade, and these guys became my brothers, all we did music like every day, like just rapping all the time. We were like the guys known for rapping at our school. So
Oh,
we
wow.
instantly connected.
Thanks.
That's amazing. I mean, just when I saw the three of you, I was like, wow, that is so dope because you don't really see, I would say like the 5 heartbeats, but I'm a fan of them, but it's very rare to see a group of people just getting together and collaborating and on the mission for God, so and faith, like it's so dope. So
Yes.
Virginia Q, could you introduce yourself, sir?
Absolutely. Yeah. So like I said, I'm Virginia Q. C.R.I.M.E.Wav is actually my older brother by 2 years, so I've known him my entire life. Like Chris said, me and Chris actually graduated together back in 2014. He came down, moved down to Gretna when he was in the 7th grade. We didn't necessarily hang out initially. Him and I got close our senior year of high school. Actually, we had chorus together, so there was a lot of but we always knew each other as being like the other guy that raps throughout the school.
Okay.
And so just kind of inevitably we ended up getting together. Like I said, especially the senior year, became super close. By the time we graduated, he actually moved into my house, with my brother and I, and we were still living at our parents at the time. So it was just a bunch of us crammed in the house. So all we had to do was just make music 24/7.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never a dull day.
To say the least, yeah.
Okay. And Mr. C.R.I.M.E.Wav, can you
Yeah.
introduce yourself as well?
Yeah. So, so my name is C.R.I.M.E.Wav because it's actually an acronym. It stands for Christ really is moving everywhere, and wave as in wave file because I make all our beats and stuff like that. So it's kind of a creative way to incorporate and just give it a little factor. So, but yeah, like he was saying, we met Chris. What was it? 2014. and I was already graduated. Like I was working a job, and we were just kind of all just like you said, in the house and working on music all the time. Like, and we were just like, yo, like we really could do this, and that's kind of how it all started and culminated and stuff like that. So yeah, we've been really going at it for how many years?
Like I actually started rapping when I was 12, 29 now. So, time is flying.
Right? A long time. So yeah. So yeah, that's so in a nutshell, that's basically was my role in the group. Like, obviously being a artist and also being a producer. So
yeah, and to add on to what Chris was saying about G.I.1 and who we are, that's what I kind of I'm quick to mention that when it comes to introducing ourselves to new crowds, because it's kind of eccentric and different. It's like, in addition to all of us being rappers, we all have different elements that we bring to the group. Like my brother mentioned, he's our primary producer. He's our engineer. He handles everything on the audio side. Myself, more so videography and photography. I have 2 businesses where I do that, professionally. So I handle all of that for us as well. And Chris is also an artist. He does digital art, hand paintings, etc. So we all try to use our different skill sets to make the group. So.
Yeah, like a real triple threat.
I definitely saw when I clicked this one link, because you have multiple links on your page. So I did some research and I was very impressed by your website. And I was like, wait a minute, Adobe does this?
Yeah.
And so it was very seamless to get to learn more about you. And I particularly because I was in the Army at one point in my life. And
wow.
Thank you. Yeah, so I just retired, not from the Army, but from another service called the U.S. Public Health Service Commission Corps. And we did all these COVID deployments. But with that being said, I'm really keen into the whole Microsoft Office products. And so I was like, wait a minute, this is interesting, because the way you packaged it was lovely. I mean, you literally had, it was almost like opening an envelope from a mail. I know I'm old school. And then you have like all the content in it. So I was very appreciative of that.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Well, wow, what an introduction. So let's go ahead and start with the 3 of you, right? For each of you, you mentioned the role of what you played in the group. So what's like the dynamic when it comes to music and the mission and in particular decision making?
Good question.
Right?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So it's honestly, it's pretty smooth, because we all kind of like just come to like the same thing, and obviously like say, I mean, because like literally everything we do is like, say if 2 say like yeah, and then 1 is like no, it's like we never get any hard feelings over it. It's just like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, let's just roll with it. Right. So it's pretty simple.
I would say it's smoother than what you would think for like a group. I know you see like most groups, like you mentioned, 5 heartbeats in other groups. There's always like the tension there. Once in a while, there's always like the one person that wants to be the standout, and the other group has like animosity towards and stuff. Yep. But like since I've known the guys, like since we've been a group, I feel like we've never had that moment to where, it just felt, like one person was better than the other. We always have each other's back.
Yeah.
Always. Even like when it comes to like the workload, I feel like if someone has an idea, like we're all in on it. And then if it's not we don't think it's a good idea, we're just like, hey, we should tweak it here and just keep it pushing, because we know the bigger goal. Yeah. I think so.
And that's something I've always loved about us as well. It's like we've all had, obviously as a unit, we've had success, but there's been moments where, one of the other has had, individual success. And we tend to rally behind that person regardless.
Thanks.
If Chris is, having a great week, a great moment, and he's getting a lot of attention, or, he's getting a lot of push and praise, for lack of a better term, to his name, we are the ones on the front line saying, advocating for him to continue that momentum. We never, there's, like you said, there's no jealousy, there's no animosity or hatred, for any of the success that any of us have. We understand that the mission is bigger than all of us, individually and collectively. So,
wow. That's amazing. Yeah, definitely. Like what you guys were saying, there could be like friction and then like oil vinegar type of thing. And how do you maneuver through the mud or through whatever metaphor you want to put? But that's wonderful. Yeah, that okay. I know that was a loaded question. Okay, maybe I should try something harder. No, I'm kidding. The pressure's on. No, I like to joke. Okay, so let's talk about faith, fire, and flow. Right, y'all live by that motto. Virginia Q, how does your faith show up in your bars?
that's a great question. Yeah, definitely. So I feel like, art imitates life. And I want to represent authenticity at all times when it comes to my art. And that's just one of the things. I love it because, as men of God, it's one of the things we're called to is, go out and essentially preach and share the gospel with the world. And, a lot of the time people just aren't willing to listen to you straight up. But if you can use a vehicle such as rap or art or production, you're able to subtly feed it to people. We feel like there's always a negative connotation when it comes to being subtle when delivering messages. There's actually something quite, eloquent and elegant about doing it in a way where it's very palatable, in a way where people want to continue to receive it. And I would say, that's just a gift that God has given us, to have this ability to be able to share it without so much resistance, and resistance is fine. We deal with adversity as well, but, that's like the main thing when it comes to me writing. I have the foundation of faith, and everything that I do after that is built upon that foundation. Makes sense. So it's definitely like at the forefront of my objective anytime I'm creating. And, thank God it's been relatively well received. So.
Oh, you were going to say something? Oh.
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh, okay. Please feel free to chime in. I have several questions, like I said. So, okay. So, moving on to Mr. Chris Cross. What does fire mean in your message and delivery?
I think it's like a double entendre. I feel like it could go both ways for faith and for flow. Like faith, like I feel like just being on fire for God, like showing it, like Virginia Q was saying in the music, like being on fire for God, like because like that's our intent, before like making music, before trying to make it big or whatever you want to say. It's like getting the message out there, like and like practicing what we preach. Like we're big on that, not just telling people, hey, this is what the Bible says, this is what God says, this is how you should live. It's like we're trying to live, we're trying to be an example, like in our music and in real life. I think just having that constant fire, and we go through stuff, like moments of doubt and stuff like that. And I think that's what makes us strong as a group, because when one of us do have one of those moments, the other two are there to like, have your back and just remind you of like having that faith or that fire, And then same with the flow, it's like we want to deliver the best message, not just like the generic like Jesus, 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 but also want to use the talent that God gave us, like the creativity behind it, like, and then also plant little seeds, because you have to meet people sometimes where they are. So
Yes.
like, just, you know, we don't want to force it down your throat, but we do want to plant creative seeds in there.
Absolutely.
I would say.
Wow, you know, when you mention meet a person where they are, I listened to someone that, like a passage they were saying where you may not have that person or that wisdom, right, wanting to go your way. So you have to meet that person, like you said, where they are, because it's the whole communication process period can be a conundrum, and delivering it is one thing, but then receiving it is another. So I think that at the receiver end, that's what I'm hearing from you guys, where you want the message to come across where they actually received it and go out into the community and spread the word, right? Because
Exactly.
that's okay. And Mr. Crime Wave, how do you translate flow through your production and lyricism? Because all three of you are phenomenal. Let me just put it that way. Let me just go there, okay? But yes, you, sir, how do you know, translate flow?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's like I'm really big on like praying over the studio and being led by the spirit, and but I'm also big on like I'm a firm believer that the spirit won't lead you to put out anything bad, as in like quality, because if we're making like sound for God, we're not gonna like skimp on that in the same way you wouldn't make food taste bad and just be like, well, I'm doing it for God, it's good, right? Like you wouldn't.
Right?
So it's like to merge both and to move in a way to where, like they were saying, like you have to meet people where they're at. You know, you can't just say, oh, hey, praise God, you should follow God. And it's like, okay, why? Where? Who? You know? So it's like you really have to be in tune with God, and you have to be in tune with like the actual culture itself, because you can't just, you know. So being like when I hear like fire, flow, and faith, I feel like basically in a nutshell, you merge spirituality with practicality. Like you have to be on earth and you have to be in heaven at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
I like that.
I like that. Yeah, that is so true. Um, it's a lot of people joining, by the way. I think they waited for the moment to hear you, to hear you guys. Shout out to Marcia. Thank you, King, for joining us tonight. Um, and it's just a lot of people on here, so I'm not gonna mention each one of you, but thank you guys for joining us. And so, just in general, you're in this genre, right? That's not always, like you said, faith centered. How do you stay true to your mission and still reach the culture?
You know, funny enough, I feel like we didn't start to reach the culture per se until we were true to ourselves. You know, we were always like brought up in the church, but
Right.
there are different points in our lives where we weren't necessarily actively walking with God.
Gotcha.
You know, I remember back in 2016 is when we like made that intentional, decisive jump. You know, and if people call us Christian rappers, that's perfectly fine with me. I'm a Christian, man before anything.
Right.
So I just feel like that title can be placed in front of whatever I do. Then you have a crowd of people who don't. They just refer to us as artists, and that's fine as well. I think you'll receive the message either way.
Yeah.
But I say all that to say, we made the choice to actively walk with God in 2016 as a unit, on the musical front. When we made that true jump, there were a lot that we realized we had to let go. Like You know, just the way that we carried ourselves, things that we would rap about, the manner that we would rap, they weren't, you know, becoming of someone who represents the kingdom of God. So we knew, you know, it could be some backlash for the people that were already supporting us. Some people that came out and verbally said, you know, if you guys go this direction, we don't, you know, I don't think y'all are gonna last. It probably not gonna work out for y'all. And you know, sure enough, God's way was the best way. We that down a path to where so many awesome things happened for us. All the people, you know, that we might have thought prior to want nothing to do with us because of our faith and how bold we stand in it, actually worked with us and respected us all the more for that. You know, so many doors open, you know, on the spiritual side and, you know, secular per se, like artists that who aren't necessarily completely in the faith that we've always admired and looked up to in some way, shape, or form had ended up working with us in some capacity, reaching out. And like I said, so many doors were open when we were true to ourselves. So I don't think it was as difficult as it should have been, you know?
I love that. I love that answer. Wow. Anyone else would like to comment on this?
Chris, you got something?
Like Virginia Q said, I do feel like once we realize, and I do want to say C.R.I.M.E.Wav was, I would say, the turning point for the group to like become true to ourselves, like making that transition into, if you want to call it Christian rap or just godly rap, honestly, like, you know, representing God in our music, I would say. He made that turning point, you know, me and Virginia Q fell in line because like we all knew we had the calling on us, like, you know, but I think we just need to make that step. And it was like everything changed. It was like how can you explain it? Like I just felt like all the stuff we dreamed about started happening as soon as we like put God first, like in the music. It wasn't like I would say before it was more about like, oh, we can't wait till we blow up, like, you know, we're gonna do this, this, and this. But once we put God first, it was like all that stuff started happening. You know, so
yeah, facts. And yeah, like you said, like I would say, like all the stuff we dreamed about happened, and what I really appreciate about it, like looking in retrospect, is like everything that happened at the perfect time, and like what happened for us, I feel like came with God's guidance, and that's so important for me, because I always pray a prayer like, yo, I don't want to blow up too fast and just become, because it's so easy to get you know, money, the fame, and the power, whatever, and just go haywire. Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's really dope.
Wow, most definitely. And speaking about artists, right? Like the door open, and so you had Bone Thugs and Harmony. So let's go into that as an early influence, right? How did they shape your style?
Oh yeah, they you know, we tell the story often, but I never get tired of telling it.
Okay.
Excuse me. You know, one of my very earliest memories in life was and we talked about this, I think, before the show started, like the VHS tapes, right? You know, my dad had a tape on it when we were young. I was maybe, I don't even know, maybe 4 or 5 years old. Like my memory had just started, you know. And he used to have a hip hop tape that had all these music videos on it, and you know, we would just watch it every day. Now it was so early in my life that I only could remember one video from this whole entire tape, and that was First of the Month by Bone Thugs and Harmony. And so, just like children do, you know, they might have a blanket or a toy. They have something that they get hooked on, and they have to consume it every single day. And that was that music video for me. And that's like where my love for hip hop was born. You know, it was together watching that every day. We just became huge fans of those guys from a very early age. A couple years passed, you know, we dove more into their music and their catalog with our cousins and different friends. So we were just the biggest fans of these guys. So of course, they helped shape our musical the influence.
Right.
And so, as time passes on, we're still fans. And they actually had a show here in Lynchburg where we are back in 2018. Long story short, we went to the show, got in contact with them through their cameraman, and ended up working with them. We got Bizzy Bone on the song. My brother C.R.I.M.E.Wav has produced a couple of records for Crazy Bone. We've just had so many cool adventures and endeavors with them, live shows and everything. So it's really cool to see how things go, full circle.
Yeah.
That's for sure. The irony in it.
Yeah.
Because that's my show's name in the No 360. Yeah, Show and Love Full Circle. That is hilarious.
Right.
I love it. I love it when everything synchronizes. So when I first heard your music, right, it brought me back to the 90s feel. I know we mentioned this before we got on the live, like 90s soul meets how, the inspiration that you guys orchestrated. So who else inspires your creativity, spiritually or like musically?
Yeah, like he said, Bone was a big, huge influence. And I feel like the first person I remember to break the Bone influence was like Lil Wayne. Like when we would hear him, and when he would come out with like these punchlines and metaphors. I felt bad doing, because I'm like, man, now I gotta leave Bone because he rapping like this. So, like they were huge. Freaking Eminem. He was a huge influence. 50 Cent. I know Chris can speak.
Yeah. And I guess like going back to like the whole Bone Thugs thing, it's funny because like I didn't grow up, like I mentioned, I'm originally from New Jersey, like New York area. And I didn't grow up a Bone Thugs fan. So I got to become a fan through them. I would say I seen their love for Bone Thugs. And then once we actually like met in person and I was like immersed in, their catalog and stuff like that, and becoming a fan as an adult and like just being around them, like it was cool getting to see like what they grew up loving, but me personally, I came up like a super 50 Cent fan, like probably when I shouldn't have been listening to him, like 7, 8 years old, super fan. Like we spoke about MySpace before this started, like that was like my whole MySpace background music. 50 Cent, but mainly 50 Cent, yeah. So so that was a big influence. Lupe Fiasco. I did get to meet him on some art, did some art and stuff for him. So that was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Sounds so exciting. I'm just, I'm so glad that you guys didn't listen to, not saying they're naysayers, but I'll say naysayers, and just listening to God and the Spirit's mission and their calling. Because look what happens, right? With that being said, how do you decide what message to push in each of your song or projects?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It's like I said, it's just like really praying about stuff, and like I would say always running it through the filter of the Word of God, and then from that, just like basically doing it like any artist would do any other music from that point. I mean, of course, once it's like you pray about it, you think, okay, would God be like, yeah, and then from that point it's just like, do you like it? Do you feel it? When you're sitting down, you're writing it. Or, when you listen to the beat and you're writing, is your head moving? Like, yeah, I really like this. And then, from that point, kind of just take your time with it too. That's something really that Virginia Q has taught me, just like, yo, like take your time with it, because it's just like it's like there's no rush to just be like, oh, I gotta put it out right now. And it's just like, you know, I mean, of course you do want to be like, okay, I need to put it out this day, whatever, but it's just really taking the time to do that.
Yeah, it's funny that he said that, because I feel like what he has taught myself and Chris is like, obviously, like he said, for me, he learned kind of taking your time, making sure you fine tune whatever the art is. But I feel like that could be a hindrance sometimes, because if you mix, you know, a drawn out project with a little procrastination and then life just away, it can, you know, prolong the process for far too long. And what he's shown me through his work ethic and high frequency, like the high clip and put together music and songs and projects, is that like it's totally possible. You know, it's totally possible to not rush your work, but also be very consistent so that the work actually gets done. But to the point that he was making earlier, I would say it's definitely almost entirely in the feeling when it comes to choosing, you know, the topics and what the song's going to be about. I think the feelings are led by the Holy Spirit. And, you know, like you said, on the practical, artistic part, once you get into creating the song, you're going to feel it. It's like, I feel like I should be talking about this. I get excited. It's hard for me to even explain. When I have certain songs with topics, like I get jolts of energy in my chest. Like the excitement, it's like the euphoria. It's like almost up. And that's the same way that I felt when, you know, we were writing that song that Bizzy Bone ended up getting on. The same way I felt when writing the Steve Harvey record. The same way I felt when writing Virginia Part 1, which led to Virginia Part 5, which is led to this interview.
For sure.
That's so dope. I mean, it's really cool how you guys are orchestrating a sound, beat, whatever, because it's it's a lengthy process, right? And I just like the way you guys come together with it. Wow, that's amazing. So what's a typical studio session with GI Wonder? Are we talking like beats first, prayer? Of course, prayer is gonna be first. I mean, come on. Freestyles.
You want
It first starts off with debriefing our week and a lot of laughter.
A
lot of laughter.
So we will talk for maybe 30 minutes to an hour before it's done. That just comes from the brotherhood itself. You know, I'm married, my brother's married, Chris is married. So we have lives. And, you know, as time goes by, more responsibilities get added on. You have different goals. It's harder for, you know, guys this age to just get together and have time to talk. So, you know, we try to meet every Thursday, once a week in the studio. And, you know, a lot of that time, like you said, that first hour or so can be spent just catching up and, you know, enjoying each other's company. More or less.
Wow, that's so cool. A lot of other people are joining us. We have people from Africa, from Ghana.
Oh, wow.
We have from Canada. We have Benji Shakur from New Jersey. He's saying here hard work and dedication, and it's definitely a journey. And I'm just Mike YP. Hey, thank you for he has a podcast as well called We Outside. So thank you everybody for joining. Wow, the people keep coming, so that's good. Hey, we brought lots of friends here. So Virginia Q, how do you approach your writing your verses?
That's a great question. So what I have learned, so I saw this, I think it was a podcast one time I was listening to. It was Terry Crews. I don't remember whose podcast it was. I don't remember when, what, you know. I just remember this line that stood out so profoundly. And he was talking about himself being in the NFL and like what it took to get to that point. And he was like, you know, he didn't have to be the best necessarily. He just had to be the only. It really stuck with me. So it's like, you don't necessarily have to be the most talented or the best per se, but if you're the only person that's willing to stay up those extra hours, if you're the only person willing to
Mhm.
go that extra mile, if you're, and so what it really lended credence to in my mind was
Mhm.
creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I try to approach my verses. Can I be like the only person that does this in a verse or does this,
Mhm.
you know? And
Yeah.
it's really just expanded my mind, I feel, in terms of creativity. If I stop approaching writing verses with
Mhm.
a prideful mentality, and of course, as rappers, you have the undertone of competition. That's
Yeah.
just what hip hop was founded on.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
sometimes it's just not enough to be the most talented because there's gonna always be someone out there more talented than you. But
Right.
your creativity can coexist with anyone, you know.
Mm.
And so I just really, that's my biggest thing when it comes to any project that I'm working on. How can we make this as creative as possible? You know.
Mhm.
You know?
Wow. Wow. Wow, that is amazing. I tried to get the information from Instagram. Unfortunately, and we're streaming live, but the commentary it's on a separate platform. So
Oh, cool.
it is what it is. Mr. Crisscross, what fuels your passion in the booth?
Um, honestly, Virginia Q and Crime Wave. I would say like the Virginia Q said, like the healthy
Okay.
competition. I would say them not letting me be lazy. I
Mm,
would say I know our mission, and it's easy when you have two other guys who are great at what they do, to where you could just like you feel like you could just chill.
uh,
But seeing them give 110% makes you want to give 110% because it's not, just about you. Because if you're just a solo artist, it's like up to you to make it or break it. But like, I don't want to be the cause of this group going down. I know they feel the same way. So it's like,
okay.
that's like makes you want to just go hard every single time. And even individually, like if one of them does something like a solo song or something and it gets like traction, it makes me like I'm happy for them. It makes me feel like that was me, which as a group it is. But then it's like, all right, now I need to add to that impact and just keep it going. So I would say them.
Mm.
That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. What were you gonna
No,
say?
we were just agreeing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I look when you guys came out with your songs. It's like I don't know how to explain it. Um, I'm just thinking about sandwiches for some reason. I used
Yep.
cake in the last session, so we'll do like a BLT or something. And it's like putting all the ingredients together, and it just makes one scrumptious sandwich, right? Like you can't get enough of it. And so that's how I felt when I was listening to um you guys tapping in, with the Virginia part one through the compilation, and everybody had a different style. Like, I'm not saying I don't know how to explain it. Everyone that's listening, you guys have to see it. That's all I have to say. Wow. So, Mr. Crime Wave, how do you build beats that speak to both the soul and the streets?
That's I like. I never been asked that. I like that, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I really just pull from like what our father basically
Mm,
put in us. Like we would like wake up on Saturday morning and he would be blaring music, and for some reason it did not bother me. Like literally, like you know how it is. Like you're a kid
uh-huh.
and you're waking up every day to go to school mad early,
Mhm.
and you want to sleep in. But when he would play music, I'm like, what is that? Like I love the way that sounds. So literally, our whole childhood and all the time we spent with them growing up, it was just so many like classic artists, like
Mhm.
from Maze, Frankie Beverly, the
Mhm.
the Commodores, whoever it was, and I really just pulled from that because in my head it's like that is like really good music. Not saying like the music out here today is bad, but I'm saying like that's the foundation. And if you can reach back there, you understand how they put that together, the feeling and the vibe, I feel like you'll never go wrong. And I feel like if you can understand that, then understanding how to put something together in like a modern time it's like super easy. And I feel like that's the heartbeat of the people that we're trying to reach. So I feel like it's super easy to kind of get into that space where like, what would these people like? It was like, oh, well, this can sound like this, and I can make this, and I can cut this up and sample this, and speed up the tempo, whatever it takes. And yeah, so that's how I feel like I get to that point.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, all your songs, and when you mentioned Frankie Beverly, I was like, okay, a lot of like the timeless songs
Exactly.
that and you have to be very creative and phenomenal to even touch a lot of artists don't want to touch timeless beats because they might mess it up, right?
That's a tall order, yeah.
So I was like, okay, bravo. So creatively, do you ever disagree? I mean, I know you say you do, but then it's kind of like 2 against 1 type of thing. But can you elaborate? No tomato throwing though, okay?
Yeah.
So
Get that out of here. Oh yeah. You gonna so you saying when there's like, let's say majority rules, right? Like 2 of us are feeling the way and the other one isn't. I feel like we as brothers built up so much trust over the years that we know that there is no way that 2 of us are just completely in the wrong thinking. It's like, okay, if it's me, if I'm the guy, if I'm the outlier, for instance, and these 2 are saying something, if they're mutual in their agreement, their understanding, at the very least, no matter how strong-headed I may feel, I have to consider it just because of the amount of respect and trust that exists amongst us. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
So it's like I always have to take that into consideration. Like we all, that's a mutual feeling for all of us. And, at the end of the day, we know we just have the best interest of all of us in mind at all times. So we would never allow one another to go astray. About holding each other accountable in any sense. That goes beyond music. That's just man to man as brothers. Is like, and that's what I love about us being a unit. Like we help to keep each other in check in all facets of life.
Okay. I was gonna say, I mean, you guys don't sit down and play like rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I think you can spice it up and have fun with it, right? Let me ask you this though. If like the opposing person, right, out of the 3 of you, if they were to come forward with their case as to why they feel in such manner that you guys should proceed with A through Z, has there been where the one person said, you guys kind of like went ahead with that one with one of you, I guess, as a result?
Yeah.
Or
I feel like that's happened before.
For sure.
Okay. I'm sorry, I probably tongue twisted, so probably messed up the question, but
I get what you're saying. Yeah. That's definitely happened.
Definitely, like there's been moments where the minority has swayed the majority.
For sure.
Okay.
I think that that can be attributed to us being open-minded.
For sure. And it's like, because and I feel like as we got older, I feel like maybe when we was younger, we would have said something like, "No, I don't want to do that," just to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna just be mad and petty." But as we get older, like, "Oh, okay, I understand what you're trying to say," and then we kind of work on it. And then if say all else fails, and like right in that moment, it's just like, "No, I'm not feeling it." We'd be like, "Okay, well, let's just go home and think about it," and then we just kind of
I would say like a lot of times I feel like, because the other person like who's in the minority, I feel like it's never like a bad idea what they want to do. I feel like a lot of times we twist it and end up still doing the minority's idea. It's just we're just doing a different song, or we just restructure it a lot of the times. But I feel like most of the time, I feel like we agree like more than you would think.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So you mentioned that you had some big wins, right? Three-time winner of Lazy Bones Spit Your Game contest. How did that impact y'all?
I would say more than anything is just like boost your confidence.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's like, again, my brother and I being lifelong fans,
Mhm.
you get that sort of reassurance and affirmation from someone who you held in the highest regard.
Yeah.
It does wonders for your confidence.
Yeah.
You feel like
Mm.
if God would allow this moment to happen, what can't we do?
Right.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that arrogantly, but it's just like we believe that anything is possible.
Facts.
Whatever we see in our minds, the desires, the things that we desire in our heart, we feel like they are attainable. It just comes with, putting God first, seeking God first, putting in the necessary work that's going to be required to get to these levels.
Yeah.
But, essentially that anything can happen. That's what it spoke to me the most, I would say.
Yeah. I think I feel like that's basically, that's pretty much it in like a nutshell. It really plays our confidence, especially like meeting him in person and then to like, what I'm saying, get involved with that and actually, so yeah, that was a really dope experience.
Yeah, it was just fun, because again, it goes back to that only conversation and the creativity piece. It's like when that contest was initially announced, there was no like dual entries. There was two rappers because my brother and I were the ones that participated. It was just individual artists doing it by themselves, but the terms, conditions, the rules for the contest never restricted doing it in a way that was different from everyone else. And so that's just another example where we capitalized on making ourselves the exception.
Wow. I love that, thinking outside the box and making your own rules and regulations. I love that. So you've also worked with Rashad Jennings and also performed at Morehouse, right? How did that feel with your collaboration?
Yeah, that was
Chris,
like a dream.
Yeah, you want to lead that one, Chris?
Yeah, like it's crazy because like so we put out an album, Trinity 2, right? And was Trinity 1?
Yeah.
The first one. Put out an album and just ended up posting like a song on like an Instagram story or something like that. He ended up seeing it, someone passing along the song. It was like it wasn't even one of the major songs on the album, like a lead single or anything. It was an interlude. And he ended up liking it, wanting to work with us. And next thing you know, he's in the studio with us multiple times, executive producing the album. Us and two other rappers that was on the album, Chad Nelson and Jay Bizzy, two of the guys that we met through Rashad, and worked with him on the album and stuff. And like the whole thing just felt like a dream. It felt like
right
how it feels like when you make it, because like we worked on the album, we had studio sessions, we had merch, we did a listening party and stuff like that. We were on the news. And then we got the text message and he was just like, this event's coming up at Morehouse College, and we have the spot to open up for Lil Baby. And then, once you hear that, it's just like we made it. And then we get the plane tickets and everything, fly to Atlanta, and it just feels like a movie, honestly, like surreal. Get there, you slowly seeing the crowd like trickle in and everything like that, and by the time we go on, it's packed in there. It's like it's game time, bright lights. If you guys want to add anything to it.
Yeah, literally yesterday was 3 years since that performance.
Come on,
to the day.
That's wow.
Flew by.
Yeah, and so like you said, for me, I feel like the most surreal part was getting the email like with the confirmation of the flight, like the flight ticket. Because that's just one of those things where like you hear about it so much, like you hear artists in their early stages when you know they're working with these big name producers or other artists that fly them out so they can work together and stuff like that. That was like our first time being flown out for the sole purpose of performing music. You know, and like he is someone he's from you know right up the road from Forest, Virginia. It's like 10-minute drive from where we are, and you know, for him to go to the NFL and have so many different acting gigs and things like that, it's like there's another example of someone right in our backyard who could take it to the highest heights, you know, and for him to show such interest in us purely based off our talent. We didn't have a prior relationship with him. He just heard the music, liked it, and you know, decided to invest in us essentially and take a chance on us. And so, you know, that was just like Chris said, a dream come true. That was another one of those things to where it's like, yo, we listened to God and did it his way. And as a result, he blessed us with this. And the coolest part about it is like Rashad is a God-fearing man. So we get to share in our faith with him, have these conversations in the studio, you know, at the Airbnbs or whatever. And then of course, you know, the actual performance part opening for Lil Baby was incredible. It was like, you know, 5,000 people. That was the biggest crowd I've been in front of, and it was surreal. You know,
it really was, and it's crazy because like I've never been so not nervous in front of that man. Like I didn't feel nervous at all because I was just so excited. And it was I was like, yo, I feel like I made it. And it was so crazy because it was like I remember because like this was like a Tuesday, and I remember you know I called my job like, hey, I'm not gonna be here. You got to figure it out. And he just, you know, and then,
you know that was right.
And then when we got back, and I went back into my job, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of like, oh my god, like, I just had to I gotta go. Come on, bro. It was just so great. Like I really felt like we made it. Like and it was such a good feeling. Like I literally sit and think about that moment sometimes. Like man, like that was great.
Me too. Like just having like the itinerary of like at this time we're gonna wake up, we're gonna go here. At this time we gotta do a sound check. At this time we go on stage. Like we're gonna eat at this time. Like just the structure of it just makes it seem like, you know, and then like C.R.I.M.E.Wav was saying is like, then, you know, after those, I think we were down there 2 days coming back and then getting back into your normal schedule. It's just like, man, it's like getting a small taste of it. And then, you know, so, and that, I would say that put a fire behind us because, you know, most people, they'll get that and then just like, okay, that was a once in a lifetime moment. It happened. I'm happy now. But that just made us want it even more, I feel like. It's like now we know it's obtainable and it's possible. But like we really want to go after it.
And it just, you know, real quick, it just reminded me of when we would be, like I said, Chris graduated, he moved in with us, so we would hang out together all the time. We had a black Jeep. My brother and I shared it. And so you know, all three of us would just be riding around together all the time or just chilling in the Jeep, and we would talk about moments like that. You know, this was, you know, what, 8, 7, 8 years prior to. Like, you know, one day, Lord willing, be in a position where we get to do these cool things, and it happened.
Oh, I want to say one more thing about this. Real quick. We done he had a show here in where was it? At Miller Park. It's like a park that's close by. And it was like a little show he threw, and we literally performed there and we bombed like terribly. It was like embarrassing.
Like our worst performance, honestly.
You know what I'm saying? So like meet him years later and be like, y'all like your music, and we on stage open up a Lil Baby. Another
the full circle.
Wow, that's amazing. So maybe it was the weather. Maybe it was too hot outside.
Yeah, it was hot.
That is, I mean, I can just imagine you feeling like you're going on a roller coaster, right? And
Yeah.
you're at the top and you're about to come
Yeah.
down. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing. Do I know how to sing? Did you get did you get that moment like, how do I sing? How do I do
Right.
anything? I know I'd probably be doing that, but oh my goodness, wow. That's such a rush and such a blessing, to have it like a testimony for you think like talking about it a few years ago and here you are today. Like, wow. So speaking about that, each of you shared, a moment, of course, with God, right? Um, were there any moments where, like you were saying, things weren't clear? And how did your faith carry you through this?
Man, what you think?
That's a great question. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say like there were moments. I don't think I've ever considered giving music up. I don't think I could if I wanted to. Even if I didn't pursue it professionally, it's just something that would be like a hobby, something that's just going to live with me forever. I believe God gave us that gift.
Yeah.
There's definitely been so many moments of like, what if this just doesn't happen?
Yeah.
You have internal fleshly thoughts that will say that to you, but also you can have people that are close to you that love you, that have the best interest for you. And so they're saying this from a objective place out of love. They're like, if you get into the statistics of how many people can make a very nice or comfortable living, solely from music or art, it's not that high.
Right.
And so you have these talks from early on. If you're saying you want to be a rapper when you grow up in school, the teachers a lot of the times are the first to say, you need to choose something more realistic, or you need to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
And so you have so many different forces, including yourself, your own mind, telling you that this is not likely, And so, of course, when you have those bad days, that voice can be much louder.
Yeah.
Start to consider like, well, I got this going for me. I got this going for me. Maybe I should just give this up because it's costing me a lot of money. It's costing me a lot of time. It's costing, relationships at times. Like it takes a lot to pursue something you're passionate about that's not traditional. And so it can be so easy to walk away from it.
Facts.
But I feel like lowest moment of when it just feels like, you know what, this is the final straw. The funny way of showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you get those high moments that you spoke of on the roller coaster. That's when you get the moments of, now you're being flown out to open for Lil Baby. You get those moments of, you're going to fly out to LA to work with the Bone Thugs.
Yeah.
Right.
$5,000 from Steve Harvey. It's like things that I would have never thought possible happen. Like the most mind-blowing things that can never be described as coincidence. They're too spot on. They're too divine. And to have even one of those moments is more than enough for me to keep going. Yeah. But to have it multiple times, I know facts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's sure. That's really been the biggest thing. Is like it's so easy to just like, when you're doing music, and it's just kind of like not like moving slow, but doing music really takes time and stuff. And sometimes you just think like, man, like what if it just don't go nowhere? And then God always be like, hold up, what do you mean? Like, have you forgotten what I've done? Like, look at all this stuff. And it's like, oh, okay. Let me get out of my little rut, my little funk, and just like, okay, you're really moving, and it's really on His time. So it's just like, stay the course, stay locked in. I feel like that has really been like very motivating in a way for me to keep the faith. And like for us, I think it's safe to say we all
Absolutely
can.
Yeah. And I would say, I think that's another thing, like where the group comes into play. It's like, being, if you were a solo artist,
Right.
getting down, just saying like, hey, this big thing happened, but it's not working out now. It's so easy to get out of it. But it's like, I feel like if one of us are feeling like that, the other two is just like, just remember like what we're trying to do. We'll talk. And I think like stuff like Open Up for Lil Baby, like we'll talk about that situation and then just get that motivation back. It's like, hey, we did this multiple times before. Multiple things happened. It's like we could have easily stopped the first time, and then none of the other stuff that happened would have happened. But we just kept going, and then great stuff just keeps happening. It's like,
bro, I can't I don't cut you off, bro, but I'm just thinking like the reason we're on this podcast
Right.
is because of a result of a lot of persistence. You know, I don't want to, I'll try to make the story as short as possible, but long story short, it's the 50th anniversary of hip hop, right? August 23rd, wasn't it? 2023 or August 11th?
Yeah.
2023. Yeah. And so that's the same day that the Bone Thugs were having their street renamed after them in Cleveland. And so, like I said, we had the relationship through their cameraman. We got invited up there to witness the ceremony. We were hanging out with Crazy Bone all day. We got to witness that. It was just the coolest moment ever, right? And so we're hanging out that night, and we were promoting our song with Bizzy Bone at the time. I had a T-shirt on with the single name on it and stuff like that. We had our stuff. And a guy named Big Hef, the radio show, he's big in the Midwest. We got introduced to him, and he invited us to come do his radio show the next month in September.
Wow.
So we were like, okay, the song with Bizzy is going to be played on the radio. That's a blessing within itself. But we were also like, we're going to write a freestyle. Each of us are going to write verses that we can perform live on the radio. Like, this is, in our minds, this is like Sway in the Morning. This is like funk.
Right?
Like, we want to go up here and show these people what it is that we do, And so, we drove all the way to Cleveland, 7-8 hour drive. We're rehearsing our stuff because we're going to perform it live when we get on the radio. And we got up there. One thing led to another. For whatever reason, we weren't able to, I guess we ran out of time and we couldn't do the freestyle live on the radio. But God is good. They still played our record with Bizzy. It was a great time. But we were really looking forward to doing that freestyle.
Sure.
I had my camera with me. Like, yo, let's just go to one of the Cleveland signs and spit it and record it ourselves. And did that. We put the video out, and the last part of my freestyle was the Virginia Part 1. I was like, we're going to be in Cleveland rapping. I want to let them know where we're from. The whole idea came from. And, that got a lot of traction. So I'm like, yeah, we should do a part 2. And that's
right.
That's when they got on it. And it just continued to happen. And, long story short, now we get to do this interview with you because of an idea that we saw through, even when things didn't look the best. Like, when we didn't do the live freestyle, we could have been like, okay, well, that's it. And I love how God he doesn't show us like the big picture. He'll show us glimpses, just enough to have faith to just continue to go in and see where it will lead to.
Man.
Right. I have chills just thinking about it because I literally just saw your your song and I was like, hey, wait a minute. It just popped on my screen. And I was like, and I messaged you. I started liking. I was like, wow, they're dope. And then plus being a team, that is so rare. I mean, literally in today's age, like there's no I'm not even gonna start singing, but But yeah, wow, I love your story. And with that being said, right? What's your vision for GI Wonder in the next like 3 to 5 years?
Wow.
Man.
You want to go
That
first?
I would say 3 to 5 years from now, I would say doing what we do on a bigger level. I feel like we have the foundation, we have the reason why we want to do it. Like obviously putting God first, and then planting the seeds, and then doing it because we love music. Like we truly do love rapping and just love music in general. So I would just say scaling that up, like doing that on a high level, as high as God wants us to do it, because He might only want us to do at this level, and if that's what God wants, I'm completely happy.
Yeah.
But I do feel like He has a bigger calling for us.
yes.
I feel like us continuing doing music, I think the more we go, the bigger our audience gets. Like even with the Virginia freestyle, like how Virginia Q said, like it started off as something we were just going to do on a radio show, and Guy had a way bigger plan for it. Like
Mm-hmm.
ended
Yep.
up being our most viewed video, and then we ended up doing 5 parts to it, and
Wow.
every part performed, at a high level.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would say, and we've been all over the country on just what we've done, and like this year, in the beginning of the year, we had to talk, and we were just like, this is the year we go 100%, like just see what we can do. Cause like previous years, we've gave, like 70% here, 80% here, or
Mhm.
something bigger happened. And then it will start cooling down a little bit. But this year we came up with a game plan. Like we said, every Thursday we meet, we get something done, even if it's just to plan something out, even if we don't record, just talk about a game plan. Hey, we're gonna release a reel this week. We're gonna do this week. And just fellowshipping with each other. I feel like that's what God wants us to do. I feel like He's really building us up to like really reach new heights in this coming year. So I would say 3 to 5 years. I would say um, we obviously it's cliche, but like the next big thing. Like I really do feel like that. And seeing just from part 5, there's so many people who said they've never heard of Greta, Virginia, and like we're the reason that they've heard of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you live in Virginia.
Yeah.
So
I know. I'm literally down the street from you. I need to come
yeah,
visit.
and I think 3 to 5 years, we can really make it like a nationally known, worldly, the the world will know where Grandin is at. I really feel like with God on our side, obviously anything is possible. So
Facts.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that.
Yeah.
Man, I completely agree, bro.
Exactly.
Like, I honestly, man, I feel like, Lord willing, we could be, if not the biggest, one of the biggest rap groups of all time. I see philanthropy heavily in our future. Like that's something that I've always been passionate about. I would love to do that on a global scale. I've always just been a big dreamer, super big dreamer. And, when I start to see some of these dreams come true, all I need to see was a peak. And now I see so many of them coming true. I'm like, oh, yeah, God can do absolutely anything He wants to through us.
Oh yeah.
I truly do see that for us. I see us just forming connections worldwide, creating art that's going to be used to transform lives. I truly do see that.
Yeah. 100%. I feel the same way. Like 3 to 5 years, definitely like just everything bigger. But there's one thing that I'm really grateful for is because sometimes I have a wrestle. Like I'm like I want to do music full time. Like I want this to be my full time income. But then I'm like I don't want to do it just for money. I don't want to like leave God out. Like well, if you ain't got a bag, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So I really think we're in the best like possible positions like to be doing other things while we're doing music. So it helps us not like, okay, if I don't rap, I don't eat. Like we still can eat without, making music. And I feel like God is pushing us in that direction. And I can see Him taking us to like the highest heights because I see it all the time. Because I remember when we first met like Bone Thugs and like Rashad and stuff like that. It's like, yo, like we get to kick it with people who've been in like spaces with like big name celebrities, and just to be in
Mhm.
that place and be like, okay, these are people just like us. And I feel
Yeah.
like that was a taste of God, like, okay, make this a normal thing. Like, look at them as a person first. And then I feel like, yeah. So, like I said,
Yeah.
3 to 5 years here.
That's so true. And honestly, I think fear, I know this is cliche, but it's false evidence appearing real, right?
Mm.
And you guys remind me of like back in the days, I'm talking a little bit in the army days where I was around like senators and upper echelons in DC. And one of the guests that came through was the astronaut, Buzz Aldrin. So I met Buzz Aldrin. I met like a whole bunch of
Oh, wow.
people that I'm like, wow, Buzz just came through, right?
Mhm.
And you see him on the Toy Story and all this stuff. So it's it's like God gives you a taste. This is how I'm feeling. It's my personal opinion, but like it's are you gonna get through that cloth, right? That barrier.
Mhm.
When are you going to step through it? And your faith is always being tested. Do you trust me? Because that's what I'm going through. That's what I've been going through. And I'm like, and honestly, wealth comes in many shapes, not just the monetary. Because honestly, like for me, you might not have a dollar to your name, right? But let's just say, for instance, hypothetically, you collaborate with somebody and they're, how am I going to get to the location? You don't have gas money or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So you just like drive there and leave it up to God, right? So the person that you're collaborating with says, "Hey, let's go to lunch, blah blah blah. It's on me, blah blah blah." You know what I mean? So the way the money is transferred is in different ways.
Mhm.
Mm. Yeah.
Like you may not have the funds, but I have the funds. I got you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and then that person got you. Then we all put our money together, and then we're on this trip.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
just okay, I don't know how to, I'm so excited. My brain is just running so rapid because lately this week, and I don't want to start crying, but it's just been a testimony for me too.
Wow.
Mhm.
Because I'm starting to see like sorry.
No,
Yeah, you're
you.
fine.
Like
Yeah.
like the work, that you put into sorry.
You're perfect.
Like your craft, and you're like, when am I gonna see something come out? And so with
Yeah.
you guys being on here, it's a blessing too. So I just want to say thank you for coming on here.
Thank you for having us.
I'm
Honestly.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're fine. Yeah.
I just like the Holy Spirit's just working through everybody, and I'm very grateful as well because you just never know, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not trying to. I know this is. I'm, I'm here to talk about you, but like the testimony for me, like I retired last year, and it's been a very like a challenge,
Mhm.
and I've been tested, saying, "Hey, are you gonna trust me? Let's do this." And I felt like He just keeps pushing me. God keeps pushing me on this platform, like keep doing it, keep interviewing, keep trust me,
Yeah.
and there's days where it's like, okay, financial setbacks and all these. I mean, you're getting hit from left and right,
Yeah.
and it's like, when is it gonna let up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like in the boxing ring, and you're like, okay, I'm being beaten up, but when am I gonna breathe? When am I gonna
Mhm.
see the fruits? And so it's I'm sorry. I just felt the spirit, like, you guys being a testimony of my journey as well.
Mhm.
So, and I can appreciate that.
Wow.
And anyway, I just
That's amazing.
You and it's like, I'm always so quick to say yes to, individuals like yourselves who reach out like for interviews and stuff like this because you have no clue like who God's going to connect you with and where it's going to take you.
Right.
But just like you mentioned earlier, we definitely deal with the roller coasters as creatives. And like you said, you may be at a low point now where it just feels like everything is just, like it's compounded.
Right.
It's like, struggle after struggle. But I promise you, like there is such a bright light on the other side. It's as cliche as it may sound, like the hardships they produce and like they shape you into the person that you're be required to be.
Facts.
Once you get to this next one. You're going to be able to look back with 20/20 hindsight and say, oh, that's why he was putting through that. Now, the people that I'm supposed to be ministering to, not only can I help them, but I can relate to them.
Yeah,
so I know how to help them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate your transparency, your platform. I know with you and others like you do, it is not easy. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of commitment, money, time, effort. But I mean, you were just so persistent and resilient.
Right.
So we admire that.
Oh yeah. 100.
Yes. I appreciate you guys. Like, I wanted to also show, I know you guys, I don't know like time wise, but I wanted to show some of your footage if you don't mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and do that. He works in mysterious ways. I mean, I wasn't thinking I was gonna get to read out here, but thank you. Okay, let's go ahead. Moving on to happier moments here. Let's go ahead and do, which one should we do here that you think people that you want people to see? There's so many.
Oh yeah, we got.
What do you think, Chris?
We got.
We could do a couple or
sure.
Videos. Should I go?
Yeah. Let's go big.
Let's see what's
Is that the full Wu-Tang performance?
Yeah.
I think that'd be
Yeah, that would be.
I think it's, if you go up some, one more row, the top right there on the left, the first one on the left, GL1, go down one, that one.
This
Is that
one?
what you guys talk about?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, let's play it.
Yeah. What up, everybody? You know it's your beloved G. I Wonder. It's your boy Virginia Q, man. We got C.R.I.M.E.Wav in the building. We got Crisscross in the building. Rest in peace to J Ball, man. Long live Maul. And we gonna talk to him and do it just like this. Yes, sir. You feel me? Talk to him. We came up poor. My mama used to hit the store with us. So much witch, you would have thought we was from Florida. Food stamps, Goodwill, no money for school pictures. Rolling 3 deep, looking for paper. The post-scriptures, government assistance. Don't forget my pop. Never had a lot, but he worked hard and gave it all he got. We crumping with chicken pots. In other words, we shake the spot. We lucky we survive. We not gonna wait until he spin the vaccine mandate. Cause everybody get shot, but you don't know a man's day. Cause only God can spin the clock. Check the watch, it's 10 o'clock. I'm trying to be out here by noon. At 5.0 go. That silencer go. Pew, pew, make sure without no remorse. Love money, not the person. It's going in divorce. Love the person, not the money. It's going into some love. I'm praying that cause I don't want to see you die from a sub.
Hey, freedom with no discipline creates bondage. It's like either you mainstream or ain't current. Witness my homie Steve when they won't working. Pop pills, used to steal like stop squirming. Rolling with gas and bats like they nocturnal. Missing their purpose, missing service cause they not honest. But they worth it for a person in a hot furnace. Witnessing leaving stomach in a not turning. Witnessing life is getting paid when you not working. Witnessing life is finding Christ when you lost purpose. Some don't like it when I use dude to move verses. Call me what you want. I hope you lose service. Look in the windows to the soul, dark shades, curtains. See the trauma in my soul, see a slave hurting. Picking cotton in a field full of hearts buried. From the depths of the pain of the black murders. Young fiend had a dream, never seen college. Smoking on that back pain, yeah, that mean chronic. He don't really need the weed if we being honest. But he's always on me dying from a seared conscience. That's why we need Christ on the front line. You lying cats don't want smoke, I'm a blunt line. Can't procrastinate and miss it. If fifth was a fifth, then your every word tipsy. Every turn risky when you ride along, get me. All white bricks like Larry Bird missing. Distributed by misunderstood and lost children. Broken hearts, liquid courage from all liquor. He walk curve, word served and talk hiccups. Cause pops won't pick up. Stick up kids, stick up grown men with pistols. Kids with grown issues. House with no toilet. Bullets that rip tissue. Straps that make music. Glocks that got rhythm. Like that stick 'em. Ha ha ha. Stick 'em. In this click, my dog sick like worm sick 'em. Praying for enemies, Christ is not in 'em. Yo.
Look, see where I'm from, they either raps you bought or they paying gas. Hostile environment, anytime my words change. Barely make it out the hood, well it never has a name. My main prerogative was to make a milli like Bobby Brown. In other words, by 11, I see stranger things. And Jerry J, them Mullen and Sean, that made me Damon Wayne. Go down dirty shame, but I still be bringing them major pain. Put your card, disappear, sort of like wristwatch, bust down, never like plain J. And humbly, I just want to see the wrist go to the runner with the black strap over the shoulder like pointed from the hip to the sky like a disco. The gun he drew, he'll let it sing like I'm from the future, but I know they want the ball like Crystal. Get the future crystal ball. Yeah, I know it's not fair. Thanks, Hampton. The power was mine when I got here. G.I. Wonder. G.I. Wonder's in the building. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. How did I miss that one? Well, you know what? I have to admit, I was thumbing through a whole bunch of different compilations. Let's play another one. I know you have to probably work tomorrow, but let's play like one more maybe, and then I'll let you go.
What we got here, guys?
You have so many things.
That's woo stuff. Okay, there we go.
Right?
Oh wow.
Do you want to play any of Rashad's album that we done with him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'll work.
Which one is that one?
So if you search you can go to your homepage and search.
Okay.
And so it's Nevah, Nevah, and then space and Lost, and Volume 1. Let's see here.
This one right here, documentary.
I think the one above that, that's the introduction. I wonder if all of them are there.
I think it is.
And so
It's the lyrical one, or
I don't think.
okay.
Oh, he had.
yeah, the album is definitely there. So in the search bar, could you instead of volume typing it out, could you put VOL .1? Yeah. Okay, that one on the right,
Okay.
is that the album?
This one?
Yeah, the list on the right. Yeah, that's it.
Hey guys,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I just found an
Yeah,
amazing
commercial.
digital marketing expert on
After
Fiverr.
this message is.
Yeah, the
I'm not
ads.
sponsoring them. All right, here we go.
Already know what this is. Already know what this is. Back online in this biz. No plan, I ain't with no tricks, yeah. It's a new season, I'm with the season. I get the signs and I move what I speak. And can't let them talk to me, I need my checks. Start treating my time like a business meal. This is a reason to. We here to preach it, this how we see it's the truth. I'm here to reintroduce, but you know that winning's the only thing we here to do.
Devil bluffs, the fight's hard, we knuckle up. They keep swinging like double dutch. They file enough, we double clutch. Can't silence us like what it's such. Had to fight to shine, now I'm starstruck. Heart to heart with God, and my guard is up. Better dive at your tone when I'm charged up. Praying to God, cause they starting something. They got big 40s in the car tuck. Running your place, aim at your face. Cap at your nose like Starbucks. Stop the violence, we had enough. Don't need guns, I'm God's son. Never been to Queens, but I'm married one. I've been a king, Q.
And I've been thinking about the stuff that got me motivated. It got me ready to set it off and ready to bet it all. I feel like I'm better than my competitor, trying to get a little better. But everything that I'm seeing is making me start believing that I gotta get at least a little fraction. I stay in my bag on light napkins. Might not, but what if it might happen? Why not? I feel like I'm Mike Jackson. Bad.
Gotta get the bag, but never making my God. I know life's a gamble, so trying to even my eyes. I'm uber nice, other words, they believe in my drive. They're losing life, but still don't believe in my God. The devil's a lie. The devil may cry, but you just turn that water to wine. Growing up, I never had much. They say envy my friends who can afford a Lunchable or pack a bag lunch. My parents did the best they could for all their kids. Forgive my sins, I never followed trend. 88 Suburban, while pops would crank it, the belt would squeak, but we drove it like a brand new Benz.
I feel like I'm as alive as I'll ever be. That's how you know it's for real. Ain't no more limits to being a better me. Gotta keep going. Collecting my tasks for them people in debt to me. They tried to mess with me. I'm out here cooking a few tracks a day cause they know I'm the recipe. Ain't no forgetting me. Nah, that's a different story. Check the inventory. I got bars that fill the tank. And we get the glory. Who gon' stop us when we clearly got the better rank? I'm just out here giving thanks. On Thanksgiving, I was laughing my way to the bank.
Yeah, I can't even count all the times I was counted out. And went through some things that you wouldn't know about. Yeah. You took the easy way, I took the harder route. Yeah. But it's all for his glory, so nothing can stop me now. I would not be in doubt, you cannot keep me down. I know the king, so I do not need a crown. I'll go another mile, let's go another round. We win the battle, so losing is learning now. They babbling on, but Nebuchadnezzar ain't seen no pause inside of this. Since I was 12, I knew I was different, so there ain't no point in hiding it. I wrote my first rap and made my first track, in the same bed I was crying in. And I would not stop till all of my tears are wiped and I'm standing in front of him.
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. I mean, you went in there like a lion. Like, oh my gosh, like Goliath, David. Goliath. Wow, that's amazing. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for showing that. I lost for words. I'm sorry. I'm speechless because tonight has been a wonderful night with you guys. And this is just our first interview.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have multiple ones. I might even come through with my mic and, you know, do a mic drop or whatever. But just we'll talk about like your schedule and what have you. I don't mind driving, coming to visit y'all.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
That would be great.
Absolutely.
For sure. In person's always better than virtual, but you know, we do what we do.
There you go.
For sure.
So with that being said, are there any like things that we can look out for the audience, like new music shows, projects, and where can listeners find you?
Oh yeah, so definitely you can find us everywhere at G.I. Wonder. So that's on all streaming platforms. Just like she has it spelled, G.I.Wonder with a question mark. At G.I. Wonder on Instagram, at G.I._Wonder on TikTok. At G.I. Wonder on Facebook, pretty much everywhere, you know, at G.I. Wonder.
For sure.
Projects, what we got coming up, fellas?
Yeah, supposed to be releasing another single. Basically, we definitely got another. It's not a Virginia Part 6, but it is a ode to Virginia, if you will. An original piece of work that we're working on. So
absolutely,
we got that coming out.
We just dropped a single a few weeks ago named "The Steppers." That's on all platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Right now, it's getting played on XM Radio as well. So.
Absolutely. So that's super dope. And you know, like I said, we meet every every week. So we're always coming up with new material. That's the plan, is to drop a lot of like singles and freestyles and different creative releases this year, as well as working on our last Trinity album. So we already have Trinity and Trinity 2 out. So it's only right, that we make 3 of them.
Right.
Individually, I have a project that I'm working on. I think I'm going to release that on my birthday, December 5th. So that'd be my 30th birthday. The title's going to be 95. My brother, C.R.I.M.E.Wav, he released the album 93 not too long ago, because he was born in 93. I was born in 95. And essentially, I would definitely advise you guys to check that album out. I love it. I was inspired by that album to write 95. And he's just given a lot of perspective on our childhood, our stories, how we grew up, the things that we had to face and overcome. And that's essentially what 95 will be, just from my perspective. We have a lot of plans for that. I want to do some live shows. Like I said, I'm a videographer, cinematographer as well. So I want to do like a short film compilation. I'm going to be releasing that probably 2026. Just a lot. If you guys just follow us and stay connected, we always are cooking up something. We have creative record we just did that I'm really excited about. So, just be on the lookout. We got a lot of stuff coming.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I have the Stuffers on my playlist. Basically I have
Wow.
G.I. Wonder on my playlist. So yeah, most definitely.
Really appreciate it.
What advice would you give artists, up and coming artists, or just like seasoned artists?
I would say there's nothing that's going to benefit you more than authenticity. Like, the easiest thing for you to do as an individual, as an artist, is to be yourself. It's not like we're the biggest guys in the world. We still have a long way to go. But all of the highlights, I feel like, in our music careers have come from us being completely and authentically ourselves. Put God first, be who he created you to be. The sky's the limit.
Oh, yeah. And, man, and the power of consistency and to just keep going. It sounds so cliche, because I remember I used to listen to Nipsey Hussle say it all the time, like, keep going. And I feel like the phrase keep going is one of the most, like, it feels so vain when you hear it, because you hear it so much, but it's so true. And it's so important to keep going, especially when you're feeling low, when you're feeling like there's nothing on the other side. Just really keep going. And something I heard that was really powerful is they said, if you want to go quick, go alone. If you want to go far, go with many. So,
And I would just say, like, it's all about God's time. And, like, because I know with us, we thought we would make it by when we was like 17, and just on God's time, and knowing, like, me personally, is like, I couldn't handle that. Knowing what I know now, I couldn't handle fame or, a bunch of money at 17 years old. Just, mentally. And then, I look at different celebrities who don't get their big break until they're 40, till they're 50 years old and stuff. It's like, you still reach your goal, but it's just on God's time. It's all about, like, he sees the bigger picture. We all think we know what's best until we get in that situation. And then, that, and comparing our lives to each other. Like, I feel like oftentimes we get caught up in that. It's like, we see our peers, like, I know I'm working just as hard as them. How are they doing this? Why is it not me? But you don't know their circumstances. You don't know, like, that's not for you. That's not what's meant for you. So I would just say, just try not to compare.
Oh, so true.
Most definitely. So I know you kind of briefly mentioned about NNO 360, but how was your experience here with me tonight?
Oh, man.
It was incredible. Yeah, we absolutely love this podcast. We definitely want to come back and do it again.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, from when you reached out into now, the amount of, like, promoting that you've done for it was very admirable.
Yes.
Like I said, I know that stuff does not it doesn't come easy. It takes a lot of concentrated and intentional effort. So like I said, I commend you for that. We really appreciate you. Individuals like yourself who go out of your way to, make us feel, well accommodated. Very hospitable setting.
Facts.
You've been nothing but kind. So I think 10 out of 10.
I was about to say 10 out of 10. That's it.
Yeah. 10 out of 10. And like you asked us before, like in 3 to 5 years, this is like one of the podcasts I would love to come back on, for your podcast and for us to see where we both are in 3 to 5 years and like reconnect. Obviously, we want to do that sooner than 3 to 5 years, but
Right.
just seeing the growth of both
Right.
platforms, I would love to see that.
I can't wait. I have a lot of plans for this. Well, God, of course, has a lot of plans, and you're one of them. I mean, obviously, who we're talking today, I just feel so honored to have you here and to spread the word because, giving hope to people, giving hope to the community, and anything is possible if you just believe, right, and have faith.
Facts.
I think those are the two things that for me. Anything else that you would like to say to the audience tonight?
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah,
For sure.
100%. Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who has supported us. Like you said, Annette, I guess that was a reason that we came across your feed is because so many people had been supporting up until that point, sharing, commenting, showing love. Feels like, the entire Virginia has just been behind us
Right.
ever since we, posted part 1. So just, thank you to everyone for the support. It does not go unnoticed.
Right.
And it's greatly appreciated.
Greatly appreciated.
And to be honest with you, you're like one of the artists that from Virginia that I've interviewed, or second one that I've interviewed. But it's really interesting how you're in Virginia. We're both in Virginia. It's just like mind blowing. But I won't belabor. I think I held you hostage for a while now, so I'll send you back to your families. I appreciate you guys. Well, be sure to subscribe to GI Wonder and NNO 360. Don't forget to like, comment, and share all the episodes. And we're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I just created a TikTok account. I think I'm probably missing some platforms, but anyway, let's continue also to support the Unity for Social Justice, and let's free Monster Yo and all our brothers and sisters that are in need of our support. This has been a broadcast of Showing Love Full Circle between NNO 360 and these 3 lovely gentlemen tonight, GI Wonder. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Salute.
Salute.